Hello, day 2 of becoming invincible. Consistency, which will be, I believe, tomorrow or the next day where I talk about consistency. It's not something I even try to leverage or lean into. And the experience of consistency for me, I'm like, oh, don't get too excited. With that, what I'm out to really embody with this whole process is the experience of invincibility as this go first. I'll go first. I'll show you what I'm doing because this is literally getting created real time, real life. And what I'm getting to experience is this process that got created by doing something really simple, showing up, creating a couple slides, or I took a bunch of notes, creating a couple slides, presenting, create a couple more slides today, presenting, and this is working. And it's so simple and it's so easy and it's so fun. So I'm going to keep going and I'm going to share my screen to get us started on today for day 2 of the keys to becoming invincible. Unable to be defeated, to be in power. That's how I see the definition of invincible. You may have a different definition. And what I really got yesterday is I shared those 3 questions and really put it down into what I'm living into is this mantra of simple, and this simple. Here, it's so simple. Move my coffee to my right hand. It's funny how I did that the other day too. And I was like, what's simple? My brain just did that autopilot. So really seeing that. I also created a TikTok yesterday. I'm going to share it just because, and you can go look at it if you're interested. This concept of what I created after our conversation. So I'll share this to start and we'll go from there.
Are you neurodivergent? Want to learn the most life-changing thing?
Just a second, we're going to go back. I'm going to stop share because I'm going to make this bigger. Thanks for dancing with me here. Okay, there we go. This is what I created after our conversation yesterday.
Are you neurodivergent? Want to learn the most life-changing thing you could be telling yourself every moment? Simple? You want to say it like a question. And it's also saying it like a mantra. Another way to say it too is this simple? If you've been following me for any length of time, about 2 years ago, I created a TikTok calling out the concept I created, ADHD secret sauce. Combination of simple, easy, and fun. And I'm taking it one step further and making it even more simple. I'm literally living that as a mantra question. Simple? And the answer is yes or no. As a result, I'm then in a position to discover, am I going to do this? No. Because if it's not simple, I'm not going to do it. And now it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy, because we need a challenge at times. And so not necessarily making it easy is going to be the solution either. And I really see the root core is simplicity. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Or it's free to join my community and share with me what you discover. Are you neurodivergent?
All right, so that's what I got yesterday out of our conversation, creating that TikTok, which felt really good. We'll see what I create today. And I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and getting this going. Okay, so the keys to becoming invincible. Yesterday, really discovered and formulated simple and living inside of that. As a reminder, I am rooted in the whole construct context of human design and gene keys. That is my woo background. I'm working on deconstructing and demystifying all the woo and bringing it as science. And that's also is where it comes from. So if you are into gene keys or human design, this is rooted in the gate 9 gene key 9, which talks about, and gene key 9 talks about the shadow frequency is inertia, the gift frequency is determined, and then the acidic frequency, or the heaven on earth highest embodied frequency, is invincible. And so really what I see with real life, whole life, and getting to construct this out loud yesterday is that real life is that inertia, determined, that whole like 2 halves of the whole. Like I'm going to be in the shadow side of inertia, I'm going to be in the gift side of determined, and do the kind of duality thing there. And what does it look like to birth through that and embody whole, which is invincible, and being able to hold both? I'm going to hold the real and I'm going to hold the whole, and I'm in the space between. And so how do I bring that in balance in such a way that they're actually able to all come together and cohesively mix into this beautiful little spot of my heart? So this is Gene Key 9 if you're into that, and I'll be creating a lot more content on that. I also did create lock screens, and we'll include the link down there. So as I like to say, I'm Jenna Michelle. I am here and I'm committed, determined, and devoted to being invincible. That's what I have today. Yesterday was my best. Today is being invincible, is what I'm committed, determined, and devoted to. And as we talked about yesterday, with our full presence, we partner and co-create invincibility. And here I want to say that my best is committed to providing all I know and I really am seeing shifting that. I didn't shift that in the text. Like my invincibility is committed to providing all I know, understand, believe in the most simplistic way. I've created this presented conversation with the desire for you to embody the acidic state of invincibility always and in all ways. And it is an experience beyond language, and my words will fall short, and it will give you my invincible best and believe together we are invincible. So that's actually just got to create that in language right there, the concept of my invincible best. So that's pretty fun. Okay, next slide. We've got summary from yesterday. We talked primarily about our beliefs. We can't live beyond our beliefs. Our direction, how are we looking? Are we looking backwards in our face or out onto the transcendental horizon, as some might call? How are we looking? And then the drive. What are we doing? Who is driving? How are we driving? Are we in neutral to actually put it in drive to move forward? Or are we in the energetics of, I got to drive, which is actually reverse because we're driven by something behind us compared to the present moment. So I want to say that again to really articulate that clear. I had a question around this too. So thank you for those who have questions. If you have questions, join us in the Magical Misfits, which you can do by reaching out to me directly on Facebook. And we're working on revamping the Real Life Whole Life page. And you can reach out to me directly and get added into the Magical Misfits group. So someone asked the question of how is neutrality powerful? Because that was kind of the concept for drive, the drive shift of reverse, neutral, and drive. What I'm wanting to create is that if we are in a space that is not the acidic frequency of whole and complete, invincible with this space, if we're not in alignment to that, what we're doing is driving in a direction that's not our quote unquote true north, which I'll get into soon. What I'm trying to articulate is if we're looking in our past or we're looking at ourself, our human program, what's there is a drive that is simply headed in the past, and that is in reverse. And so we might think we're going somewhere, and it feels like, as I'm seeing it, it's like, but it's like a blindfold. I can feel that my body's moving and I have a blindfold on and I don't actually know what I'm creating. For me, what I'm discovering is that getting to neutrality, getting in my body and responding as I see my strategy and authority, responding to my intuition, responding to my gut response, responding to what is actually here, not what my brain is preaching at me, what's actually here in reality, I then can take a step forward. And that simple, easy, fun step, or that simple action, is a degree of momentum that will completely lead you to that radically aligned, invincible energy. Because at the end of the day, it's not a matter about getting to being invincible. I am invincible. You are invincible. You can be invincible when it comes to your inertia. You can be invincible when it comes to being determined. You are invincible. How did we say that definition, by the way? Unable to be defeated, to be in power. You are. It's a matter of, am I connected head and heart to actually believing that? Is my real life and my whole life actually in alignment? And that's what we want to do. And to be able to actually bring those into alignment requires a degree of neutrality to actually let the dust settle and then put it into drive, where that's really the concept I see around drive, taking that further. Neutrality is powerful because you actually are choosing, where if you're not in neutrality and then driving, you're not choosing that. You're determined based on your past. You're determined based on your ego. And we want to love that. We don't want to we want to eradicate that. And really, it's until we love those duality pieces, we really do not begin to embody that neutrality and the invincibility of neutrality. So that's a little more there. I appreciate the questions too. Keep showing the questions because it really helps me dig into the areas that are missing context. Okay, so what we're going to do too is, as I like to say, I can't live beyond what you believe. My current root core belief is, as I see Gene Key 9 and see this energy, is invincibility is simplicity. And I'm open to shifting. This is just simply my core root belief. Now, my beliefs are shifting all the time. And so as I have more conversation, as I have more dialogue, as I have conversation, shifts happen all the time. So this is where I'm at right now. And this is written in the sand. And so I'm currently seeing it as invincibility is simplicity, and I'd love to continue to co-create this with y'all and see if you see something different. Let me know, what is it for you? This is my root core belief. I believe you'll have a root core belief that may not be mine. You can take mine, run with it if it's of value, or create your own. I'd love to hear your own. And it's a matter of, are you inspecting your beliefs to be able to see if they're actually in alignment to your true north, which I'll be, again, sharing, I believe, tomorrow. Okay. I'm always open to shifting. So, do we want to be invincible? This is a question I want to start with because we're talking about I am invincible, becoming invincible. So really what I see is where the first place we really want to start is, do we want to be invincible? Do I want to be invincible? And that's a distinction there too. I'm saying this out loud. Words create our world. I read that question, do we want to be invincible? And what's there is it's not really powerful answer that's coming up. If I shift that to say, do I want to be invincible? That language, the energy of that's like, yes, yes. So for this conversation, do we want to be invincible? That's the conversation. What I want to ask you to do in your own brain, take a moment and say, ask yourself, do I want to be invincible? My body's a big yes, a big energetic yes. Yes, 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 yes. And so while I'm invincible sounds good, do we actually want to be? That is the key, because there's a typo there, we'll get that fixed. All that to say, with that, this is a root core belief I live from. That is, those with ADHD can always do what they're authentically interested in. This also brings up the conversations. I'm going to share this into other spaces. If you're not ADHD or you don't know, not a problem. Do you want a life that consists of what you're authentically interested in? That's what I'm up to. Those with ADHD, it's a matter of life and death. 25% of those within the definition and diagnosis of ADHD are battling the choice between life and death. So for me, helping, serving, loving those that are ADHD as I was diagnosed ADHD is the most important thing to me, because there is a ability that I have to communicate and help understand it, because that's the brain I have. I now understand myself as autistic. And so in the neurodivergent bucket range of ADHD, as I experienced both physically. So with that, which is funny too, because I would almost never have typos, or I would almost always have typos before. And so the fact that I have a typo now, being unmasked autistic, I'm like, oh, like, I can't believe that. Like, it's such a different experience on the planet being unmasked. Okay. So those with ADHD can always do what they're authentically interested in. And I don't think that should have been a question. So that was really quick. All that to say, that is a quote that I received when I went through a workshop or a training when it came to being an ADHD coach. It is ADKA, I believe is the name. And that's a quote they live by. The misspelling is a degree of bothering me right now that it's wild that it wild. Let it go. All that to say, that quote is what I ground into over and over and over again, because as a word always, here's the thing. There's nothing that's black and white. All we are is our beliefs. So am I willing to believe that as true? Yes, I will stake my claim on it. Those with ADHD can always do what they're authentically interested in. As I've come to understand, and has research and studies come to understand, those with ADHD have an interest-based nervous system. And so even if it's not a thing, it works for me, and it's what I leverage, and it creates the biochemistry that my body needs to function. And so those with ADHD can always do what they're authentically interested in is something a root core belief I have. And for those that are not ADHD or not in that bucket or don't identify as neurodivergent, if you listen to my content, there's a high probability that you are. So I'll be creating resources for you to assess that. I do believe a definition, or at least an understanding that your brain and your body has a different nervous system, is massively valuable when it comes to functioning and where we're headed on the planet. So I'm just let that go. All that to say, if you are not, do you want a life that consists of what you're authentically interested in? Me too. This is where I see we can all come together. We're all interested in an authentic life. So to get this real, take a moment and ask, is there anything not working in my life? Do we want to be invincible? Do I want to be invincible? Instantaneously, I have something that shows up. I have a phone that I created for my photography business that I ignore and dysfunctionally not operate with. There's a big challenge that is not working in my life. Paying bills, paying taxes, not working in my life. Those things, this bucket, which actually see it as a bucket. So what we'll do for this exercise is create a bucket. I didn't put this as a slide. And the bucket. We're gonna do a bucket. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this so we can get over here. We're gonna create a bucket. I love buckets. So, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna get a sticky note. Just 1 second. This is my bucket. This is my sticky note bucket. And what I'm gonna say is not working. Where you're gonna most likely experience, if you're anything like me, is a degree of shame, trigger, emotional challenge, because you're facing what's not working. So what I want to create for this context and create powerfully is this is a safe space. It's already in existence and it's not going to quote unquote change by not being aware of it. So I want to create this as a safe space to say, we're going to get this out of our brain and get it somewhere safe. Yes, the dissociated denial of my taxes helps me function. So looking at this can impact your nervous system to a degree of impacting your function. And I simply want to help encourage you to trust the process, trust what's coming up, and knowing that the dissociation of it doesn't change how real it is in your body. And so wanting to do that, I'm going to create that. I'm going to give myself 2-3 minutes here. So if you haven't done that, do that or enjoy the hold music of silence while I wait or while you wait. Okay, not working. Okay. I'm not going to share all of them publicly. And we're going to let that go. So this is not working. I'm going to let that go. I don't need to be aware of it. I don't need it to be triggered in my brain now. It is what it is. I have it out there. I can actually now see, I actually get to dissociate it from it more, because before, when I think about what's not working, my brain like pings and triggers stuff. And it's like, we don't, nope, go away. Looking at it head on, looking at it straight on, just say, okay, I'm gonna write it all out. What I can do now is it's out of my brain. It exists here and I can put it here and I can actually dissociate powerfully because I looked at it in my face and now I dissociate powerfully. Also, I did my nails yesterday and they almost all fell off already, if you noticed that. Okay, back to sharing screen. Sometimes I know I don't need to share, but I do. Okay, back to, do we want to be invincible? Do I want to be invincible? Again, I also like, I'm invincible, sounds good. I'm like, yes. Do I actually want to be? Do I actually want to be here? There's a little dissonance here. Do I want to be? I mean, I want to be. I just think of all the paper and the notes and the books and all the clutter I have. Do I want to be invincible there? I don't really want to take it on. So no. So that's something that it shows up for me. And I'm not authentically interested. So that's a root core belief that I'm not authentically interested in these things. And so I make sense. Those with ADHD can always do what they're authentically interested in. I'm not authentically interested, so it's not going to work. It's simply a matter of fact. And do I want to be invincible here? And yes, I do. Because how I do anything is how I do everything. And if I'm not invincible here, I'm actually not invincible. And this is where that whole real life, whole life shows up. There's a real embodied experience that's not invincible, and who I am as a whole complete person already is invincible. It's how do I bring those two together and actually live in alignment with this being true is invincible and my real life being invincible and my whole life being invincible and having them in alignment. And so then I'm truly this dropped in invincible human. And so this is part of that path to make that, to create that alignment, to be in that space and to have really, really clean, pure, empowered, invincible energy. Okay, so we kind of did this exercise and I'm going to just lean it into again so we can ask it just a little bit differently. Do you feel stopped by anything? Are you experiencing inertia? Did you know that this is simply a belief? What's stopping me here is a root core belief that has me not interested. So we need to say it to see it. And then we get to discover what is real. We can then shift to what is most true. And then we can say it until we see it, compared to fake it till you make it. So getting to nothing, getting to neutrality, inspecting the belief, getting to neutrality over the fact I haven't paid my taxes for multiple years, getting to neutrality. It is what it is. It was what it was. I'm not going to do anything about it right now. I am experiencing inertia. I'm also experiencing another typo. I'm clear. I'm experiencing inertia here. And I have a definition of inertia I'll get to in a second. I'm seeing I needed it a little more before. Because what we say, think, and believe is what creates everything. Every word creates, every word is power. We have to discover what we believe. It's both body and brain, and it's actually nervous system. So that's actually a root tree. It reminds me of the root nervous system, and I'll be getting into that. I really wanted that a definition of inertia before now. We're going to find it real quick. Okay, so inertia is the idea that an object will continue in its current motion until some force changes its speed or direction to change. So I see that could also have been helpful for me to share yesterday also, and really wanting to see that when I Googled inertia, it's an idea, it's a concept that an object, when set in motion, will continue in its current motion until some force changes its speed or direction. So all of these things, I have an idea. Well, I have an idea, and I have a direction that I'm headed on those with taxes, not paying them as the direction I'm going until I have something that hits me sideways. That's like a phone call or the IRS or something that's going to force me to change in the other direction. I'm going to keep going in this direction. And how can I stop and get to neutrality and discover what am I authentically interested in? If it is to be invincible, then I need to take on taxes. That is something that I need to take on, and it could look different than what I think it needs to look like. And it's a conversation I need to be having, because right now it's hanging out over my head and it's not in a space of alignment. So that's where I'm at with that. I want to go back. Okay, so what we say, think, believe is what creates everything. Every word creates, every word is power. And we have to discover what we believe. And what I want to say there, why we have to discover what we believe, thinking about our beliefs is different than discovering our beliefs. I can talk about what I believe all day long. My actions and my body are going to actually tell me what I believe. I can say, I'm going to do my taxes. I believe that I'm going to do this all day long up here talking. My body is going to actually be the one that gives the proof. My body is going to be actually the one that tells us what I believe. My body is going to be the one that gives the proof. It is both our body and our brain. It is both. My beliefs are still here, and my body, my nervous system is going to tell the truth on me. And there's often a way you can essentially have two things being true at once. Your brain can have one belief and your body has another belief. The thing is, we can't live beyond our beliefs, which I think is the next thing. We can't live beyond our beliefs, and the body beliefs win out over the brain beliefs. So that's where I want to create real life, whole life, and bring them together. Yeah, that doesn't totally add up to what I've said in the past. I'm just gonna let it go because I don't have the space or time to dig into that concept. I think you get it. I'm gonna let it go. Okay, so I want to introduce a concept here, polyvagal theory. I don't want to get into it in depth. This is something I will be digging into as a whole other topic, a whole other master class. Most likely what this will look like in the future is go check out my polyvagal series to learn more about this. I just simply want to introduce it from, this is where I started in 2020. May 2020, when I started my nutrition program, or started the nutritional therapy practitioner program to become certified as a nutritional therapy practitioner, I discovered this chart, and it has been life-changing. Why it's been life-changing is I discovered this and I looked at it and I was like, hey, that's me up here, except I do really good up here, actually. I'm a high performer. I have a lot of results. This is where I live. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, there's something that needs to happen before. I don't know how to do that either. I didn't even know what feelings were back then. Come a long ways. All that to say, I discovered that those who are ADHD self-medicate with stress. So in fact, we rock this area. So because of that, we can stay here with not really doing here. And why I also see that is we don't have resources on the planet to actually help us do this in a way that actually works. Because it's not built for our brain. It's not built for our system. It's not built for the interest-based nervous system. I'm not interested in this. So what I've seen and what I'm out to do and what I've created on the planet and the gap I'm looking to fill is how do I create interest here so that we can go from here to be able to be down here. What's fascinating is 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago now, yes. I looked at this and I was like, you know what? This looks like heaven on earth. Like, I feel like that's what heaven on earth would be like. I was like, oh, that's funny. And then here we are 2, 3 years later with a spiritual awakening, discovering as a real energetic thing. I had this whole concept too of that I'll have all the energy up here. What if I moved my energy to my root and worked up my system to here? What would happen? You have a full Kundalini rising, you have spiritual awakening. And in our Western context, it was a spiritual crisis. And I was having a medical emergency and a mental emergency. And I got taken into a mental institution where I was held against my will for, what was it, 11 days. And I got to infiltrate the system, and it does not have anything to help you. And it's what we've got right now. So all that to say, this is something I'm out to teach and help people with and actually see it, because did you know they do not factor in your nervous system at all, because they wake you up every hour and a half and torture you psychologically when you're going through a very hard time. So that's fun. I don't understand if someone's sleeping why you would wake them up if they're battling a major challenge. All that to say, I'm not going to try to get into that. I get trauma hooked really fast. And I have discovered this is the key to moving through. So we've got up here, I can't. So why I say this is important too is we have to discover what we believe. It's both brain and body. If I'm in an inertia state and my inertia is I can't, which again, what was that? If I'm in the current motion, like inertia is the idea that an object will continue its current motion until some force changes its speed or direction. If my inertia is here and I can't, I am trapped, hopeless, shut down. I'm headed in that direction. This is also what I'm seeing and being able to see clearly in regards to the whole concept of suicide, depression, nervous system state. It's what makes sense. We don't have resources to get us into I can at all. We have medication that can numb us more to this being real in our body. And medication may numb us to the point where we can actually take some of this on because the emotion is too intense. And if it's just medication without actual support, all you're doing is numbing the I can't and kicking the can down the road. I very much pro medication. It made a difference for me. It completely altered my reality, but to be able to take medication. So I'm very pro medication. And if medication is not actually supported with actual tools to get you into an I can state, and it's just simply numbing an I can't state, that's where it's dangerous, because all you're doing is kicking this can down the road until another crisis happens. I want to have us change our inertia that's headed here by leveraging this so that our inertia is here, which I see as our true north. This is what I see as true north. And with that, I want to change this. Actually, I need to create my own thing probably here. Is this flipping it upside down? The upside down words kind of challenge me, seeing the nervous system here, because again, this is nervous system, this whole chain reaction in your body that is faster than your conscious awareness. If you have, like, people with PTSD, the experience, the energy in the room is going to translate faster into your nervous system than your conscious eyes can see. So it's like you're not stronger than your nervous system. I'm just going to say that. And your nervous system is connected to root core body trauma beliefs. And so with that, it's really hard to see this upside down the way that it is. I'm always going to say, in the concept of inertia, I see it as this. There's a part here. That's why what I say too, and I will say too, if you're at this bottom space, that first step is going to be the biggest step. That's where you need help. It's going to take the most willpower. It's going to take the most power. It's going to take the most energy to head in the other direction, because you're moving here. A force has to come in to change you. I simply going to say, most of us, it's only an emergency situation that forces us to change us. So what I desire to do and create is create content that empowers us to shift and change powerfully without a crisis. That's what I want to do. That's what I want my message and my content to do. So if you can like a post or like a thing or like whatever this is, that helps me get this word out to other people. and helps empower me to be like, oh, I'm getting sense. I'm making sense more. I can develop this all the more and more and more because I'm empowered and going against my physical beliefs because I'm getting biofeedback out there that I can do this. I got that. I'm now having social engagement with other people because they're engaging, and I'm creating this online, and we don't have a culture of content creation connection very well. We just consume, not realizing that there's another human on the other side of that screen that's also dealing with the nervous system. So how can we help them see with people showing up in the present moment, connecting with them, having this ability of it's safe? How do I get the biofeedback out there when I create to an internet that doesn't give biofeedback because everyone just consumes like it's a movie? I'm a human here. I got real human feelings. I'm insecure that this doesn't make sense. I'm insecure that you're not understanding. When you ask a question, all this kind of seeing, when I get feedback back here is massively different. And it creates momentum of a degree of like, oh, I got out of that one. Let's go find the next one. So that's what shows up there. And so really see in every area, like almost like all of these, there's a degree of my taxes living down here, my clutter living down here. What simple thing can I do to move this forward? So we're not stronger than our beliefs, as in my conscious awareness is what I need. So the I that I am when it comes to autopilot program is not stronger than my beliefs. My beliefs are my nervous system, and we have to discover our beliefs. When we discover our beliefs, then I can be stronger. Not before. Discover it. Then I have the power to change. And it is the root cord, synapses, neurons, nervous system is a program. So I have to discover the program to be able to actually rewrite the program. And that's where we're taking the conscious awareness, inspector, gadget, go gadget work that I like to do and what I want to help people discover is where it's there, and creating safety to do that. To be invincible, we have to look at our inertia to discover our beliefs, where our feet or our seat is stuck. She could be sitting. And that's where our inertia is. It's this experience of stuck. The thing is, we're never truly stuck. We're never truly stopped. We're always moving in some direction, even if that is inaction, that's still momentum direction. How we do anything is how we do everything. We are our beliefs. So again, we talked about the inertia, the idea that an object will continue its current motion until the force causes its speed or direction to change. You're currently headed in a direction, even if you're experiencing inertia. Are you headed in the right direction? How do you know? How does one know? And I actually did discover just now this is what I'm going to be creating my content with, is true north here. I believe that's the nervous system state of, just a second, Hank's going to town, heaven on earth. And so I'm going to keep going in that direction. So that's a belief. Are you in alignment with that? Do you want your nervous system dropped down, regulated, polyvagal theory, whatever that one is? Do you want your nervous system in ventral vagal? That's what I'm out to help y'all do. And I believe that is to be invincible. I believe this here is invincible. Invincible joy, invincible presentness, invincible groundedness, invincible curiosity and openness, invincible compassion, invincible connection shows up there, invincible mindfulness, invincible safety. So yeah, that's a yep. Okay. That is the right direction I see. That is our true north. And that will be more what I'm going into in day 3. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, I gotta stop it so then you can stop recording. Okay, have an awesome day. Oh, comment below if you have any questions, anything showed up. If you are interested in joining the Real Life Whole Life group, I will add that here. If you're interested in joining the Magical Misfits, I will work on adding this here too, and we'll go from there. Love you all. Have an awesome day.